Hey, my name's David Hahn, owner of Hahn's Air Specialist. I wanted to talk to you today in regards of duct sealing. More and more states are now passing laws where you have to have your ducts tested, especially on new construction, and a lot of the older homes are inefficient due to air leaks. Some of the things that we're going to talk about today are proper and improper styles. You'll be able to go up into the attic and notice what's good, what's not good, is it properly sealed, and when you have an HVAC company come out to talk to you about duct sealing, you'll be able to tell a quality company apart from a shade tree company. Last week I went out and quoted a duct seal on a client's house, and she called in for a second price. Another company came out and said they would do the job for significantly less money, and they trash talked us pretty much to get the job. So this is, once again, part of the reason why we're going to do this video today and tell you everything you need to know about duct sealing. Here we're going to look at some examples today of how I find things in clients' attics. This is what we call a saddle, a 6-inch saddle, and this is a metal pipe trunk line right here. You'll see this often, and what this is this is applied incorrectly. They have put this on the exterior of your insulation, and what it allows air to seep out from underneath the saddle and will cause these screws to rust, water to drip from the attic, and poor efficiency due to unfiltered air entering and leaving the supply trunk line, which can cause growth issues. This one down here is the correct method with the pipe and the saddle securely screwed to it. The sticker's been removed, and there is a little piece of a neoprene cushion that goes on the inside like an insulator to try to cut back on the air leaks. Now, one thing that when we quoted the job last week, this is how this lady's house was. They came in, they were going to do 18 leads for $300. And this is, I guarantee, what they did. They took a little bit of mastic, and they came around and they just painted it on, and they said it's sealed, right? It's not going to leak air. That is completely false. And the reason I say that is you're still leaking air up underneath the insulation, which will eventually, if the R value of the duct wrap breaks down, will cause your trunk line to sweat. So if you go in the attic and you see sweat lines, more than likely it's because air is leaking underneath the insulation and is causing your issues. All right, well, as we mentioned earlier, this is the correct way that the saddle should be applied to the pipe. So what we're going to do is, when you take mastic, I like to pull it into it. You seal it up good. Don't worry about it, it's messy. And you pull it up into it. When you get it good and tight, you go all the way around. And as you can see, that is a completely sealed ring. I also like to use a different mastic than most people like. I like CAD. It's a fiber reinforced mastic. It's extremely thick and strong. We don't have any issues with it really running. Every now and then we do, but not much. But if you go, just like I said, you can go around the pipe, seal it up nice and tight, smooth it out when you're done. And then we'll show you in a second of how it'll look when we're finished to have a good, tight, sealed duct system. Okay, I just finished up sealing it, and this is how we would do it at Hahn's. I've attached my flex. We've got a zip tie on the inside. Pull it down, put a zip tie on the outside, 2 zip ties always. And then I tape it nice and tight, and then on the inside, it's nice and sealed. No need to put the mastic all on the exterior. It's ugly, it's just ugly. I don't think it does anything at all. If it's sealed on the inside, you got nothing to worry about. Okay, I just finished up putting on the top piece of flex on the one that's done incorrectly. I want to show you this. If you come up in the attic and you can grab your insulation, you pull it back, and you can see that there's no mastic up here or on the insulation. And this, like I said before, is done incorrectly. But if yours looks like this, then whoever you paid to do a duct seal, you need to call back and have them come back and do it correctly. All right, so what I've done is I've assembled an example of a supply trunk line. This has got a reducer on it. And there's a couple ways you can seal this to make sure it's done correctly. The first thing and most important thing, I think, is well, zip screws. You got to make sure that the pipe, once they put it together, they run zip screws in it to hold it together so it never pops open in the trunk line. This is a reducer. This is a 14 to 12. And this is something that a lot of companies do, and we do this too on certain cases. We use actually a heavy duty mastic foil tape. That's about $20 a roll. This is just standard tape, foil tape. But you can seal your ductwork up like this, or you can apply the mastic. One thing with the mastic, when you apply the mastic, one thing I've learned is you have to lay your trunk lines out the day before. You mastic everything, and then you put it in. If you mastic everything first, and then you wrap it, it's liable to stay wet for about a week or two underneath the foil. Or when you put it together and wet, it's messy, number one, but number two, you end up smudging or smearing the mastic off of the places where you want it to be, and it ends up all over the pipe, instead of doing what it was designed to do. Okay, as you can see, this is the pipe section I just put together, and this is common. We get the pipe from the manufacturers, we put them in the back of vans, we take them to the jobs, it gets beat up, and when you put it together, you can have dents like these right here that leak what you call unconditioned air or conditioned air into the attic and can cause the issues. This is from a crimper that we do, so it's automatically whenever you have a reducer or you're putting pieces together, you crimp them. So as you can see, if it's not sealed properly, how much air you're going to be losing, and what you're spending money on is basically wasted if it's heating and cooling the attic. Another thing you notice when you put pipe together, all of my crimps are going with the air going downstream. A lot of times, some people, I've seen it done plenty of times, they'll take pipe and crimp them and they put them going the wrong direction. So the crimp, as you can see, is bowed up on the inside. It's actually catching the air and blowing it back into the ductwork underneath the wrap, which causes the ductwork to sweat. This is the correct way to put pipe together, as seen. Okay, I've just finished up sealing this supply line. As you can see, there are no more leaks in the mastic. Everything's nice and sealed tight. You don't have to worry about it, but you do have to do this the day before. You have to lay your trunk line out, let it dry, and then the next day you come in and wrap it. It's a lot more labor intensive, but if you want it done right, call Hans today, and we'll be happy to come out and price the job for you. Thank you.